you now that your glory comes down like never before and rest upon every individual. That we live here now to your glory, the splendor of your holiness. That we depart this presence, Lord, knowing that you have infused your glory in us, your presence in us, your complete being in us. I disappear from this altar at this point. Take the stage. When we finish, take your glory. I'll be satisfied to see you glorified. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' precious name, we pray. Amen. You can sit now. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercy never comes to the end. They are new every morning. New every morning. Great is thy faithfulness, O Lord. Great is thy faithfulness. First Samuel chapter 4. First Samuel chapter 4. If you dare say hallelujah. Amen. Okay, we'll read verse 1 and we'll take verse 21 and 20. We'll read verse 1, then we'll take verse verse 19, 20, 21, and 22. Verse 1, then verse 19, 20, 21, and 22. And the word of Samuel came to Israel. Now Israel went out against Philistines to battle and pitched beside Ebenezer, and the Philistines pitched in Aphek. Verse 20, verse 21 and verse 22. And about the time of her death, the woman that stood by her said unto her, Fear not, for thou hast borne a son. But she answered not, neither did she regard it. And she named the child Ichabod, saying, The glory is departed from Israel, because the ark of God was taken, and because of her father-in-law and her husband. And she said, The glory is departed from Israel, for the ark of God is taken. Put on the caption, Restoration of Glory. Child of God, where we just read now, I didn't want to read it all through from verse 1 to 22 because of how long it is, but I will explain. Here was Israel who came for a battle, and the back of many battles, and they have seen the Lord win the battles for them. And each time they go for battle, they always see God's glory in the battle. In fact, some of the battles, they don't even know how they conquer the enemy. They just arrive and discover that the enemies have been conquered already. And they just do little thing and go home. But on that very day, child of God, the Bible said that they came for battle, and when they arrived in the battle, the first thing that happened was that they began to die. They began to kill them anyhow. And then they remembered that the ark of the battle, the ark of God was not with them. They went and fetched the ark. And their enemies have heard about the power of the ark in the past. They've heard about any time they bring the ark in any battle, that the battle is over. The Bible says that when the ark arrived, the people of Israel began to jubilate. That ark has now arrived, which means their enemies are dead on arrival. But surprisingly, the enemy said, let's just fight our last battle. If they win us, it's fine. If we win, it's fine. But they were so shocked to see that even while the ark was in the midst of Israel, they were still conquering Israel. They were still dealing with them, they were still killing them. They killed them until they even took the ark and seized the ark. They took the ark, seized the ark, and killed the sons of the chief priest, and killed everyone that was responsible to carry the ark and to the ark. Then when the chief priest heard the news, he slumped and died. And the daughter-in-law, who was pregnant, went into immediate labor, or what we say emergency labor. The moment she heard that her husband is dead, her husband's brother is dead, and her in-law, her father-in-law has gone, she went into emergency labor and gave birth to a child. Now, we've read about this place, but have you ever thought about that child that came out at the time that the father was dead, that came out at the time that the mother was dead, that came out at the time that the father-in-law was dead, and the uncle was dead, and the glory has departed from the nation she came to? That child. A child that made an entrance to the world when the glory of God was no longer in the family. A child that made an entrance into the world when the glory of God had departed the nation. A child that made an entry into the world where the father had to die because of the glory. A child that came when the uncle has gone, when the mother was gone. A child that was named after a circumstance that was besieging the nation. A child that was called a caput. When they told her that you have given birth, she was not moved because she was also dying. At that time, what was in her mind is the father of the child is not there, the uncle is not there, the father is not there, and God is not around. Let me go. And they left the child alone to bear a name that represents the situation of the country. A count. What is glory? Glory means the weight of God. The weight of God. The heaviness of God. that somebody has thrown their words on this person. When a man has the glory of God, he has the completeness of God. When a man has the glory of God, he has the heaviness of God. He has the fullness of God. For those of you that we are in Bible studies on Wednesday, we took time to explain the 7 spirits of God that makes a man complete. That when the 7 Spirit of God is in you, we can say that you have the fullness of God. And we mentioned Colossians, Ephesians chapter 3 verse 19. We mentioned Colossians chapter 2 verse 19 and Colossians chapter 1 verse 9, right? We explained it. We mentioned Isaiah chapter 11 verse 1 to 3. Where the 7 spirits of God was highlighted. Because sometimes when you read Revelations, we hear the 7 spirits that were before the throne of God in Revelation chapter 1. You may not really understand it. We highlighted it that number 1 is the Spirit of God, of the Lord. The Spirit of the Lord. And number 2 is the spirit of wisdom. Number 3 is the spirit of understanding. Number 4 is the spirit of counsel. Number 5 is the spirit of power and might. Number 6 is the spirit of knowledge. And number 7 is the spirit of the fear of God. Now when these dwells in you, we can say that this person is full of the glory of Almighty. Now, the glory had followed Israel from the day they departed Egypt. If you take a look at Exodus chapter 13, from 21 to 22, the Bible said that he became a pillar of fire unto them at night, and a pillar of cloud unto them in the daytime. So that was the glory of God following them. If you read verse 22, it explains what the pillar of fire can do and what the pillar of cloud can do. So that they cannot be harmed. The pillar of fire was like a light unto them that they cannot misroad. But when the glory of God has departed from a man, they will lose all these benefits. Because when the glory is with you, that is when Psalm 91 becomes effective in your life. Psalm 91. He said, no arrow by the night or by the daytime, not the new one or the night one can come near you or near thy way. That is when the glory is around you. So if the glory is there, even if there is an arrow in the new day, even if there is an arrow in the night, it will not come near you because the glory covers you. Because there is a pillar of fire in the daytime, and then in the night time, and there's a pillar of cloud in the daytime. When the glory of God is covering you, that is when Psalm 23 becomes effective in your life. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, whether anybody wants to harm me or deal with me, or anybody is planning anything against me. I will not fear, because I have no fear when I remember his staff. When the glory of God is with you, child of God, that is when that you see Job chapter 1 verse 10 coming effective in your life. When Satan was telling God that there is a hedge around Job's household. When God was asking Satan, have So whenever the hedge around you is broken, that is when the glory is around. You are subjected to all kinds of attack. I pray for somebody after this service. Your glory will come back. Amen. 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 When the glory is around you, 1 Samuel chapter 7 verse 2 will be your portion. You will hear Samuel mentioning and looking at a stone and saying, Ebenezer. Ebenezer simply means the stone of help. The stone of help. At that point, at that place, there were stones fighting the enemies against them. He said, this is the stone of help. This is recognizing that God Almighty has helped them this far. He said, God has helped us this far. But child of God, I want you to look into where we just took our reading today from verse 1. He said, the war was taking place in the same Ebenezer. The same place that Samuel had anointed and said, this is where God has sent us this far. That was where the people of Israel pitched, fighting the same Philistines. And this time around, the battle turned around against them because the glory had departed. Because the glory is no longer there. So when the glory leaves, you become pepper soup for them. When glory is no longer available around you, you become pride for demons. You become McDonald's for devil. You become chicken. You become all kinds of sweet foods for the devil because the glory is no longer there. But I pray for somebody today. If your glory has been stolen, I prophesy in the name of Jesus. Let your glory return. Let your glory return. Let your glory return. Let your glory return. In the name of Jesus Christ. When your glory goes away, no new testimonies. No new testimonies. You will be testifying for old cars, old houses, old jobs. Something that meant Gideon asked God, where are the things our fathers told us about you? We have had so many good things about you. Why are we not experiencing them now? When the glory has departed, you have old testimonies. Glory has. But I've come to speak to somebody who is ready for new testimonies. If you can hear my voice, I prophesy. Let there be new testimonies. 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 I prophesy. Receive in the name of Jesus. When the glory is no longer there, you might be forced to seek help in Sangoma. Sir, we have had people when their things refuses to move, they start thinking, I think the solution should be devil. See, devil is fighting me, let me become his member so that he can stop fighting me. But one person I know that fights his members is the devil. Yes. So, in the book of 1 Samuel 28 verse 8, we saw Saul who had sorcery in the land, going after sorcery because he didn't have the body. He was the person that said, if we see anybody who practices Sangoma in this land, we will kill that Sangoma. But when the glory departed, Saul disguised himself to go and seek after the same Sangoma. When the glory is departed, man begins to feel empty. When the glory departs, when man will begin to feel the vacuum of God. When the glory departs, you will no longer hear God. well. You can go and meet the highest prophet in the land, and he cannot see again. I remember when I went for driver's test, and they give us that thing to check your eye. I look, and become E, he becomes C. At the point, we have to talk like a pound and little euro. Then I came out. The lady that was with me that went, she said that I can't see nothing. I didn't see nothing. I laughed to people. I didn't see you. You even saw it, so I didn't see nothing. So when the pass from you, the greatest prophet in town will look at you and say this way. They can't say anything. Because the Lord has made them not to see anything. So no prophet in town was seeing anything about Saul. He had prophets around him, but they could not see anything about him until he went to sorcery, to sarcoma. The same people he banned. And the Bible said he went and was telling the man to call him the spirit of prophet. The tattoo and the one Bible said he disguised himself. Sometimes Christians disguise themselves to seek help from where there is no help. To seek help from where they have cost. To do the same thing they preached against because of situations. But may your glory never depart. Because when glory departs, frustration becomes the order of the day. You will not lose your glory. 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 In the name of Jesus. So one thing I know about glory is that it departs unannounced. Glory departs unannounced. The people of Israel never knew that the glory had come. They have begun to see the ark as a stick, as a piece of wood, as a thing they can use, like so many people do. They only come to God when they have problems. They don't seek God even in good time and in bad time. Once they receive breakthrough, they go home. When the breakthrough finishes, they come to God. Those people are using God. So the people of Israel have begun to use God and not allowing God to use them. They have begun to use God. That whenever the battle becomes tough, they'll say, where is that ark? Where did they keep it? God bring it. Let's show them that there's something that we have heard from our fathers that can conquer. And God decided to be God and said, today I will allow the enemy to take me. But if you read down in chapter 6, you will see that even the act they took that did not began to deal with their gods in their own town. The third act that the people stood from the Israel that did nothing was taken to their gods in their shrine. And he began to tell them, I don't belong here, you don't know who you took. Every day they wake up, they will see their gods bowing down to this ark. Every day they wake up, they will see their gods bowing down to this ark. Every day they wake up, they see him bowing down. Their gods worship until their hands we are gone. Read it very well. He said, one morning they came, the hands of their gods are out. The night they came, the head because the thing kept on bowing. Bowing until the spirits went up. When their gods became tired of worshiping the ark they began to cause sickness in the land. And when they met their own prophet, he said, you went and took something that is bigger than us. Take it back. If you don't take it back, you're in trouble. The Bible said that the day they took it back, he said, don't give them this thing empty-handed. Make sure you give it with gifts. Send it home with gifts. Send it home everything that you have. Because if you don't do it, you are in trouble. that I am not who you can use. Glory departs unannounced. That is why you must be very careful with glory. There was a man called Samson. Samson would do everything possible. He would commit all manner of fornications and adultery, and he would still come out. And they say, Samson, the Philistines are here, and he would still come out and they beat them. But one day the glory left, he didn't know. One night, Samson was in a shower in a hotel, and he was naked, and they shouted, Samson, the Philistines are here. The Bible said he came out, lifted the gate of the city, carried it of himself, and went and dropped it in the mountain. You don't understand the kind of power. He came to the gate, pulled it out, carried it to a mountain, climbed the mountain hill, dropped the gate, just said, carry your gate, and left. The other day, he took only one ball and finished the Philistines. Killed men. Power was there. They would bind him, he would just wake up, and the ropes would just, the chairs would just break and fall on the floor because the glory was there. But one day the glory left. He thought the glory was still there. And surprisingly, they woke him up and said, Samson, they are here again. And he thought the glory was there. And he did what he normally does. And nothing happened. He was captured. Glory lives unannounced. That is why you must be careful with glory. He doesn't tell you when he lives. He just lives. And how does glory live? Romans chapter 3 verse 23. Sing. All have sinned and fall short of God's glory. When sin comes, you fall short of glory. Glory will be cut off from you. All have sinned and fall short of glory. The Bible said that righteousness exalts the nation, but sin is a reproach. When you think that you have had the blessings of God and you begin to sin against God, He leaves you. He leaves you. I told us about a pastor that told us story of when he committed fornication. Power will flow. When was that? 2-3 years ago. Power will flow. He thought it was normal. So, which means this sin gives power. He got no sinning. Until one day he was naked. That nothing was happening again. He became a prey to the enemy. The day you sin is not the day the punishment comes. So you might think that, oh, I have everything now. So I can do anything I want. And God looks at you and says, I will deal with you. You are joking with me. You want to use me. You cannot use God and not God. Where can you run away from His presence? Where can you go? Number 2 is rebellion. First Samuel chapter 15, verse 22 to 23. He said, obedience is better than what? Sacrifice. Rebellion is an attitude of teaching instruction. An attitude of throwing away direction. An attitude of disengaging yourself from divine instructions. He said it's better than sacrifice. They said do this, you say I will not do it. God said you should, I will do it. Once you have begun to develop this in you, get ready But when God decided to do some casino with his life, when God decided to play game with his life, in one day, he lost everything. His wealth became a laughing stock. That his friends will come and laugh at him and say, confess to us what did you do. So no matter you might have 10 people in your account. My father used to tell me a story. There was one bank that closed. That was where he used to send his own money. The whole money came back with. That was where he pushed the money in. And the bank closed. The front bank. I've forgotten the name of the bank. It closed. People who were in charge of the bank took the whole money, left abroad, went on exile to them. I know one of them somewhere in Oregon. They ran away many years ago. My class money, every other people's money, was siphoned mysteriously. So no matter who you are, no matter the level you think you are, the Bible says, be careful when you take your stand. Be careful when you think that you are now standing. Very careful. All other ground is sinking sand. All other ground is sinking sand. All other ground is sinking sand. So he said, listen, you fall. So the only thing that can guarantee you standing is what? Carefulness. What? Carefulness. When you are standing, be careful. Highlight it. Be careful. Because carelessness can push you down. And one of the careless things that can happen to a man who is standing is disobedient. Rebellion. Rebellion is a spirit of a semi-spirit of being independent. My siblings will be able to tell my mother used to tell us that early independence is very bad. Those days when we were growing up, at 14 we will ask our mother, give us our own room, me and my brother, give us our own boys' room. Give us these people, you need to give us so that when our friends come, this is where we will stay. You know that kind of thing. My mother said that early independence is very bad. It's very, very bad for us to start thinking of being on our own. It tells us that one day you will be on your own and you get tired of being on your own. Just wait. After 18, you go to university now. From there, you are no longer here. You come here, you will no longer be happy with here. From there, your life begins. After visit today, since that day I went to university now, I've been taking care of myself somehow. That's how life changed. So when you are growing out of teenager, it's nice, but you are growing into troubles. You are growing into some independent, some kind of thing that now you have problem, your mother will solve it, your father will solve it. Then when you have it, they will ask you, what do you think? What does that mean? Think on your own. Think on your own. We are not there now, so how do you think you can solve it? That's when life begins. That's why when they are around 14, 15, 16, 17, they are so stubborn. Very, very stubborn. Sometimes you want to change them, sometimes you want to give them. Sometimes they are very stubborn because they are thinking that they are there. Leave them 18, 19 when they start understanding life. When they start understanding life by 18, 19, 20, everything that will happen in life will be like, mommy told me. Mommy told me. No wonder she was telling me this. But now they don't understand. It feels like you are wicked mother. You feel like you are so okay business. But my father beat me when I was born. I wish he's alive. I said, thank you for that beating that day because I thought you were beating me, but I didn't know that you were telling me. There are some beatings I received that I thought my father was very wicked. But now I understand. glass anyhow. How can I be breaking glass anyhow and go so even now when you try to break glass, sometimes you forget the price of the glass and put the business. You might have even finished beating them before you know that the glass will blow you to the 2 rand. After beating, praise God. Rebellion. And number 3 is pride. Pride. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28, verse 14, we saw God kind of praising Satan in his former position. He said, "Thou, we are the anointed cherub, and I set you so. I made you so. You were so much good to the kingdom. You were a cover to heaven. You were so awesome in your duty. You were so good since I created you. The sin was found in you. To the day we discovered sin in you. And what was the sin that was discovered in him? It was not fornication. It was not lies. It was not adultery. It was not gossip. It was not cheating or whatever. The sin that was found in him was pride. Isaiah chapter 14. If you begin from 14, Satan came up one day and said, "I think I qualify to be the most high." Because God kept him so close to him. He had thought that he has done everything, that he knows everything now. He was a cop. I know what cover means. Kind of a bodyguard. So by being a bodyguard, he thought that without him, God cannot exist. And he began to connive with all the angels in heaven. But thanks be to God, there were some angels who refused to buy his idea. He went gradually, and when he discovered that he was no longer having his way, he began to accuse other words before God. That was why when they chased him down, they said, "The accuser of our brethren." He was always accusing those ones who refused to buy his idea to overthrow God. So he now tells them, this one said this one did this one did that, so that God will turn against them. And when God turns against them, they will not turn against God. And the whole host of heaven will be against one person. One of the tricks of the devil is accusation. That is why you must be careful with your friends who accuse other friends around you. Each time they raise issue, they say, "This one did this one did that." Be careful of those people. Pride. He woke up one day and said, "I think I qualify to be the most high. I will ascend there where he is, and I will be the most high. I will receive all the honor that was coming to him." That was what God spotted. And God said, "No, this one can no longer be in heaven. This one can no longer have the glory around him. This one don't qualify to have my presence." And God began the evacuation program on how to remove him from above. Child of God, whenever God spots pride in you, he begins to bring you off from him. You ask yourself, what has made my things to be stagnant? Check if God is still with you. What has made my things not to move forward? Check if God is with you. What matters is if God is with you. Because if God is with you, no one can be against you. Romans 8:1. Say, what shall we then say? If God is with us, what you need is God. You need him. If God is with you, his full presence is with you. Everything you touch will answer with testimony. Amen. Child of God, can the glory return? Yes, the glory can return. If you have lost your glory, I have come to tell you that after this meeting, your glory will come back. Your glory will come back. come back. Your money will 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 come back. How does the money come back? Number one, go back to your first love. Some people will think I say first love, the one that first love of God. In Revelation chapter 2, when Jesus began to speak to the church of Ephesus, he said to them, I have something against you. You have left your first love. First love, how you used to serve God. How you used to serve God. I was in the spirit yesterday morning, and God was speaking to me. And the first thing God said to me is that social media has taken the kingdom backwards. After preaching to you now, you will be on your Facebook in the next 3 hours. And that kind of preaching will pop in. He might even contradict what I'm preaching now. And if you take more 5-10 minutes to watch it, you buy the idea. This is why so many churches, like people who go to Reverend Walker's church, are not allowed to watch another pastor. Kind of. You might call it control, but no. The man is protecting what he has taught his disciples. Because after teaching them what the Lord has inspired you, there was a man of God that popped into my preaching, my YouTube yesterday. He was preaching very powerfully. I spent like 5 minutes watching him. The moment I went, the Holy Ghost began to tell me that this one has lost his way. You know this thing that preach grace. Grace. Sometimes when you watch them, you will discover that they are having bitterness in them. Now what they are preaching is against other people around them who are rising. They are not only preaching the gospel. They can be wise in their teachings, but they lack the Holy Ghost. Each time you are preaching, each time I come to preach before you and ask God, what is the thing that I am to accomplish towards the eternity in this sermon? Not to make you jump, jubilate, clap. No. But what is the advancements of the kingdom in my sermon? So I spent time breaking down old, the ancient walls that have been built by our fathers that God created to be on earth today. That without those ancient walls, they won't be even preaching. They have stood up to bring it down because they took that thing they have, go to a level that they can never fall again. And sometimes when you take time to listen to their preaching, they are actually preaching against one man of God without mentioning it. It's a time we need spiritual guidance. It's a time we need discernment. Because many people have lost it. There's one church that preaches against hellfire. In fact, sometimes when you argue with them, they will no longer be arguing against hell, they will be arguing with fire. They will be arguing with them, will leave the hell, say hell is there, but they will be arguing with the fire, that there's no way God can burn his treasure. And if you do some background research on how the church began, you realize that the beginner of the church of the founder was actually afraid of hellfire because he had 5 wives. So because of the 5 wives that he was afraid of, because they have told him to divorce 4 and have 1, otherwise he go to hellfire, he began to propagate that there's nothing like hellfire. I want to seize this opportunity to tell you in this end time, mind who you listen to. Mind who you watch. Something that has kept you long from the time you began ministration. Stick to it. Don't worry about this year. God told me, mind yourself. I'm minding my business this year. Minding myself this year. I sat down one day and I said to myself, I looked back on how I began ministry. Like, when I began ministry, I had no affiliation with any man of God. No pastor, I don't have friends. You cannot point this one as my pastor friend, this one. But sometimes I started to be a little bit expanding and associating with this and that, knowing them and being friends with them. And I said to myself, what has it actually benefited me? Because it looks like they are taking it from me that you're giving me. And this guy said, no, I will build myself. Let me walk the way I used to walk. Build myself. Nobody is my friend. I even went as far as telling the ones that I call friends that this year I want to build my own. But I didn't tell them that they have not benefited me too. I just said this year I want to be myself, build my own, the same way I used to serve God without knowing any pastor, without being involved in any organization of pastor, this and that. I was on my own and they used to come to me. But sometimes when you start going to people, they'll start running away from you. But when you are your own, they start coming to you. So let me be on my own. Hallelujah. Amen. Back to first love. And how does that happen? By repentance. You actually need to repent. Because Jesus was saying to them to trace where they have fallen from. One of the greatest mistakes you make is inability to trace where you fell from. He said, trace back to where you fell from. Where is it? If you don't know where you fell from, I can remind you. That day you lied. That day you gossiped. That day you started being involved around people who talk against pastors. That day you started going to hotels that you didn't go to rest, but you went to a different sex species. That day you began to do all those conversations on WhatsApp, on YouTube, on Facebook, on whatever. That by 12 o'clock midnight, you are still chatting. You're not awake for praying, you are awake for chatting people. That's where you started falling. Hello, church. You are too quiet. Someone say, praise the Lord. The day you started being awake till 1 a.m. and you're not praying, that's the day you started falling. You're not studying the word of God. You're not studying or making researches. Rather, you are chatting. From there, you started missing someone that you have missed before. He said, go back to the first love. Go back to the days when any day that is Sunday, you don't sit back in your bed and begin to think if you go or not. So many of you on Sunday, you fight with yourself. Some of us, we are waiting for something to come. We can't wait to have that presence of God again around us. But some of you, somebody has to even beg you, please go to church tomorrow now. Please go with me. Please let's go together. Please, either you don't have shoes, or you don't have pants to wear, or you don't even have bra, or you don't have this or that. You have excuse all the time. To go to God, it doesn't take take you 5 minutes to dress up. In fact, if you are going to come on Friday from today, you have already put the clothes somewhere. This is the one. Today, if I wear this one, I'll put the clothes on fire. This is the shoe I will wear. If I wear it, you will even test it. If I go like this, they will know that I am party. Once it's Sunday service, it's not an excuse. I don't have clothes. Anybody that says he doesn't have clothes, that's why he doesn't go to church. He's targeting a girlfriend in the church or a boyfriend in the church. They have ulterior motive. There's something inside them. Ulterior motive. Who is looking at your clothes? Who will make cares? Sometimes you don't even know what you want to church. It's only on Facebook that we saw you see your pictures. Okay. This is what I'm wearing today. You don't even know. You will think who has time to begin to check you're wearing black today. Tomorrow is green. Who has the time? Nobody has the time. It's you that have the time. And because you have a target, may God shame you for that target. If you come into a church, you must come to worship God. If you come into a church, you must come to seek God. If he tells you to wear one cloth every day, wear it. If he tells you to wear one jean every year, wear it. Nobody cares. Maybe that jean will bring favor. There's a jean that will smell too much of God, and everywhere you wear it, there will be favor. There's a cloth that will smell too much of God, and everywhere you wear it, there will be favor. Go back to your first love. Go back to the days that you used to pray and pray in the morning, and pray in the night, and pray in the afternoon. The day you need to speak in tongues without any provocation. The day you need to dream and see things together. The day you need to pay your time without anybody troubling you. The day you need to give windows without nobody asking you. The day you need to do things that pleases God. Those days is what God is calling you back. He said, come back to me now. The days that you cause sin and sleep. The days that once you hear about sin, you leave the area. The days you fear God. He said, otherwise I will come and take my candlestick away from you. I will come and take my presence away from you. And when my presence goes, the glory will go with my presence. That's why David began to cry in Psalm 51. He said, do not take away your spirit from me. Because I saw what taking away your spirit cost Saul. I know the days that the spirit left Saul. Saul will not have peace of mind. When the glory leaves, you will not have peace of mind. I know the day that the soul will not sleep. There was tormented spirit until they came and hired me to play song for him before he will sleep. When glory leaves you, child of God, you will not have peace, and there will be torments all around you. I don't want to go through this again. I have seen someone go through it. Lord, whatever you do with me, don't take away your glory from me. Whatever you do with me, let your glory remain. Do not take your spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of my salvation. The joy was gone, but David knew that there was still a spirit around, and he saw that if the joy goes, the spirit will soon go. And he began to beg God, please Lord, don't allow the spirit to go away. Instead, restore the joy into my spirit, that I might testify before you. Renew my heart, renew my heart. Give me a new heart, give me a new heart. Bring back your glory, bring back the spirit. Let me become afresh before you. I will stand before the congregation. I will testify again. I will preach the gospel again. I will tell people of your goodness. I will preach again. I will tell them how you are. Restore. Trace where you are falling from. There are some friends. Once they become your friends, you can never pray again. Prayer becomes a problem. In fact, they will become kind of monitoring spirit against you. Each time you say, let me pray, they are full of rain. It's them calling you. Watch them. It's them calling you. Each time you are going to midnight prayer, it's them that will call you. Each time you pick up your Bible, it's them that will call you. And their call will take longer. It doesn't matter who they are. The devil has to tell you something. Distance yourself from them for some time. Because they can become devil's tools in your hands around you. By the way, devil cannot tempt you except through someone around you. Devil has been targeting Adam for a long time until Eve came. Adam has lived in that garden for years. But when Eve came, devil rejoiced for the marriage, but for the correction of Eve, devil celebrated. Devil knew that I cannot get this man, but I can get this woman. That is why you must be careful with around you. Sometimes they can be God, sometimes they can be devil. Watch them and mark them, design them. Each time they are begun to be devil, push them around. Take them a bit farther, and when they resume their position in God, bring them close. I pray for somebody. If you hear the sound of my voice, I decree the restoration of your glory. The restoration of your glory. Number 2, humble yourself. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. The book of Matthew put it this way. In Matthew chapter 23 verse 12, it said, whoever exalts himself shall be humbled. See, humble yourself before God humbles you. If God humbles you, you become nothing. Some of you pray the prayer and say, God humble me, God humble me. God allow me to humble you. Humble yourself for yourself. If God humbles you, said he that humbles himself shall be exalted. But is he the one who exalts himself? He said the person will be humbled. When God's humbleness is humiliation. God's, if you are asking God to humble you, he will humiliate you. Humble yourself. The task is on you, not on God. Pride is one thing that you never know you have. I don't have pride. You have it. You have it. For saying you don't have it, you have it. In fact, the word I don't have pride makes you that you have it. I don't have, you know me, I don't have pride, you have pride. That's why you are saying you don't have pride. And I don't have pride, you have it. Start bringing humility inside you. One day I had a meeting with somebody down there. A man, an old man down there. He owns the Cactus Garage down there, and he owns this one here too, after Chicken Licky. The way the man was so humble, actually made sasa with slippers, with shorts, with some clothes that I don't pay. But he owns this one, he owns this one, he owns Engine Garage in Lane Street. Was so humble. Some of you, if you become certain level, have certain level of reach, your friends will no longer be your friends. In fact, if you want to shake me, the way you will drag your back and give that hand to me is if I want to take, I should take it. But as if you are giving me money with that hand. Because you think, if you don't humble yourself and God humbles you, you become nothing. There was a man in the Bible. The Bible said this man thought that he has made it all. At that time, he began to say, I look at my bank because everything did well that year. Then I have prospered so much. I think now I can now expand my bank. and now enjoy that my soul will enjoy. I don't think I will lack anything. And God was looking for him and from heaven unto him, and God said, this night you will go. This is an example of someone that God has called. You have the houses there, you have the cars there, you have this there, you have that there. You never thought about the kingdom of God. This night I will take you home and other people will enjoy it. Just like what this man was saying this morning. He said, some of the clothes you are saving, you might be the one that will wear your that day. The clothes now you are waiting for the day will go and pass and wear it. Maybe in the years to come, the day God will call you home. Then ask your wife or your husband, which clothes does he like wearing? They know. They know the one you like, the Lord knows. He didn't tell them. How did they put it on you? You will be like this. You wouldn't even know. All these things you're hiding yourself, somebody will bat you. Somebody will bat you now. Now you enter bathroom, you lock the door. Don't worry. On your last day of earth, somebody will back you. You that day you wouldn't even know. Somebody will even enter there and give the person sponge. In fact, the person that will be batting you will not like to be alone. They don't like to be alone. They would like to have somebody around. In case you open your eye. Humble yourself. The Bible said in 2 Corinthians 7 verse 7. If my people who are called by my name shall do what? Humble themselves. The first principle he mentioned is humility. If you can humble yourself and cry unto me and call me, I will do the impossible. But let me first see what? Humility. And finally, I've preached about this before. Finally, pray for your friends. Pray for your friends. In Job chapter 42 verse 10, the Bible said that Job prayed for his friends and God restored him. Job prayed for his friends and God restored him. There are some of your friends you need to pray for. Those are the ones that have offended you so badly. Those ones that you are reading and bleeding against them. If you can open your mouth and pray for them, the Bible says that Job prayed for his friends. Job did what? Prayed for his friends. God asked him that if you want restoration, pray for your friends. Because some of you, your hearts are heavy. You need to release those bitterness. Let it out. Say, I forgive this person and I pray for their success. I pray for their greatness. I pray for their blessings. Because if you don't do that, you may start turning to be small witches without knowing. Small witches. Because you hear that they bought a car, you get died. You hear that they're buying a house, you are dying. You hear that they are marrying, you feel like that marriage is settled. It was my sister who was getting married. Sorry to say it. And somebody from my family went to the husband and said, you know, he's not a virgin. She's not a virgin. She's not a virgin. Ask her. Are you the one that is flower? Uncle? What concerns you and her virginity? From our own house, somebody left our house, our family, to go to our in-laws to tell them, you know that the person you want to marry, she told her the virgin. And she told that and the one said, yes, I don't care about it. That's when it was done on him that this marriage will hold. Some of you will start being small witches without knowing. When they say pray witchcraft, I think they are in the shrine. They are around the church. No, I guess witchcraft, they are in Durban in Nigeria. Who is it? Let me tell that one that you married the devil. Who is it? They pray the Lord gave me a new job. You say, eh? She will lose it. She will lose the job. Inside your heart, which inside it happens, so you will lose the job, that job, she will lose it. So that you will come and show her that you are what. Small abode witches. Small abode witches around the church, around the people, gospel. You would know. Say, pray for your friends. There are people you are holding grudges against. Just mention their names and say, God bless them. Jesus' kind of prayer was, forgive them. They don't know what they are doing. These things they are doing against me, they don't know what they are doing. It's them using them. So I forgive them and I pray for them. And then you start praying for your friends who have offended you, child of God. Restoration of glory will begin to come. I pray for somebody hearing my voice in this meeting today. If you have lost your glory, receive it right now. I pray for somebody hearing my voice. You might have lost your financial glory. You might have lost your marriage glory. You might have lost your destiny glory. You might have lost your church glory. You might have lost anything. But in this meeting, I stand in the altar of God and I pronounce the restoration of your glory. You shall no longer be called incapable. You shall be called the restoration of God. In your finances, receive. In your marriages, receive. In your business, receive. In your academics, receive. Any area of your life that you have lost glory in the past, I stand in this altar, I proclaim, receive in the name of Jesus. Be restored in the name of Jesus. Be restored in the name of Jesus. Stand up and begin to pray. Say, my Father, I receive my restoration. Begin to pray. Begin to pray. I receive my restoration.